What is up, everybody? You guys have been asking for this for quite a while now. You've said, hey, Tyler Nolan down in Florida needs your help. You've been leaving messages on his page, on our page. He's been getting emails. I've been getting emails. So today, I'm in Florida, about to go meet up with Tyler Nolan to see if we can help him with his birds. All right, everybody, we are here with Tyler Nolan and Toruk. Now, as you guys have all said on our channel, on his channel, that he needed some help with BirdTricks. But first of all, dude, you had an update on your other bird. Can we share that?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. What's the update?
So, update on Phoenix. I'm gonna put a video about that soon. I got another notice. Actually, I have it right over here. Another violation, noise violation. You don't like that? But yeah, my neighbor, I guess I got a neighbor that keeps complaining about, I guess Phoenix was just super loud. And he was very aggressive. He was still super scared of me. He wouldn't let me anywhere near him. He actually let my girlfriend touch him, but he wanted nothing to do with me. So update on that is a good friend of mine, Mikey. We used to work together at a place called Underground Reptiles in Deerfield Beach. He's got a page called The Real Tarzan, if some of y'all have heard of that. So now Phoenix is at Tarzan's. It's called Tarzania. It's his house in Homestead. So now Phoenix is actually in a huge aviary that's way bigger than my house, even, with a bunch of other macaws and birds. Doesn't have to have like any human interaction, so Phoenix will be super happy over there.
Awesome. Well, when we first started setting this up, the idea was to come down and do, like, I thought I was going to try to do some stuff to help work on the screaming and those sorts of issues. And I followed some of the stuff that you posted, and so I brought a few things I think will help, but I wanted to hear kind of what you feel you'd like to see different, like behavior that you like, don't like, dreams that you want to try to achieve, goals you want to achieve with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. I haven't done a DNA test on him yet. I want to. I'm going to soon. I just hope that you're a boy. That's all right or not. But I mean, he's not that loud. He talks a decent amount in the morning. He doesn't really scream too much. If he's hungry or if he wants me around, obviously he's gonna scream. But he's not that bad. He was only loud when Phoenix was here because Phoenix would go into these screaming fits, and then they would just go back and forth between who could be louder. So, but now, I don't know. He's awesome. You could tell he's such a baby still.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a baby. He's only a year and a half old, but he's such a little goober for sure. When I moved here, I live on the water now. So I was scared. He was a decent flyer at my last house. I would call him from the living room to the kitchen to eat, and he would fly. He would fly I used to hand feed him when he was a baby. He used to fly to eat in the morning and fly when I had treats and stuff. But I didn't want him to fly here, and I didn't want anything to happen to him, so I wanted him to get partially clipped. And instead of partially clipped him, the place brought him in the back and fully clipped him. But you can see now he's got he's got 5 flight feathers back in now. These weren't even here. They completely cut it all off. So it's actually grown back a lot, thankfully. It's been almost a year since he's got clipped. What are you doing?
I think I'll just kind of go through some basic stuff with you, man, and show you some of the things that are easy mistakes that people make a lot. Like, do you have parrot experience prior to him?
Not really. I only have experience with birds of prey.
Okay.
That's a completely different animal. You know?
Cool. Well, let's dive into this and see what happens.
Yeah.
Since you know what his favorite treats are, we're going to start with, let's grab a handful of treats, and I'll show you some basic. Okay. So, real quick on treat size. Are you familiar with pine nuts?
Oh, yeah.
So, pine nut, or like an almond cut into 8 pieces. So that should be your treat size. So one trick is when you get one tiny treat. So, since you've got this bag here, is this food that you were feeding?
No, that's
just treats?
Treats.
Okay, so let's go to, if you want to stick those peanuts in your pocket for now, we'll use these. And I'm just going to show you. Vacuum. I'm just going to show you some of this, some like the basics. So you mentioned earlier at the shooting range how one of the issues was, you know, he's not good with like everybody.
Right.
So as a bird trainer, what we do is we teach a certain, we call it targeting or touch training. And that just basically gets the bird to understand that we're going to be training, and if I do it and you do it, it becomes this language that the bird understands. So does he like sunflower seeds?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just have him touch the end of this. Usually it's just out of curiosity. He gets a click, he gets a treat. The click marks the exact moment that he touched the end of the stick. You don't want to do it where it's like you miss it and he ends up biting you and you click when he's biting you, so we'll just teach him that that's what the trick is. So he'll touch the end. And he gets a treat. So this seems really simple and stupid, but what it does again is it goes back and it teaches you like, I'll have you do this next repetition, and then once this is officially trained, anybody can approach this bird with the stick gently and bring it into the scene, and the bird understands, okay, we speak the same language. A lot of times the reason people start, their birds start biting is because people will push into their chest and force the step up. The step up, keep in mind, is always a trick. Like, they're not naturally going to want to do that for everybody, but when people force it on, that's why they end up biting. So just slowly go in towards him with the, in this case, it's not a chopstick, but the screwdriver. And now try to, on the next repetition, once he's finished with that seed, try to get him to go over to the bowl and just see if by pointing it over there, putting it there, if he'll go there. Perfect. So he's doing it out of curiosity, he's slowly learning that that's all it takes. Now this time try to bring it over here. Okay, I'm going to step back for a sec. So if you ever get like too long of a pause, then just wait. Like part of it is we're asking him to do it when he was still eating. So just give it a short break. All right, so go ahead and try again. Okay. So over 1 or 2 training sessions, you can get them to understand that touching the end of the stick, or in this case, screwdriver, equals a treat. Usually we just use a chopstick. Let's just use some chopsticks here. And make do with what we got. So now, let him get to a certain spot and see if you can target him to a different, we saw it treats. See if you can target him to a different area.
Like back here?
Yeah, just somewhere other than where he currently is. Perfect. So he's really quick at this. Part of it is he's really motivated to see you, and we skipped breakfast.
He's hungry.
So, and don't feel bad too about like, in the wild, birds spend their day flying around, expending physical energy and foraging, mentally, getting rid of all that mental energy to try to find food, but there's no guarantee. So by skipping breakfast and just training at lunch, we don't usually use a lot of food to make the bird motivated, but don't feel bad about using it as a treat because basically they would be working for it in the wild anyway.
How high do you want it? Like
that's perfect.
Eye level?
Yeah. So in lieu of having I'm assuming you don't have a tea stand.
Not now. I did have one and he ate it.
Okay. Since he doesn't have one, let's go and just put him on this. So in hopefully one session we can get him to do a spin. Meaning, I'm going to wait till he's finished eating. Okay. Let's see if I can just spin. Now this might be a challenge for me because he doesn't know me. So for him to put his back towards me is going to be a little concerning. Okay. So we're going to try to bring him around this way. A little further. So now you can see he's hesitating. He's got to move his feet. Notice that I'm not pulling the stick away. There we go. And I'm bringing them the rest of the way around that way. So I'm not ever pulling the stick away from him. Once he goes to grab it, at most I'm bringing it closer. But what happens if you go and he's like trying to grab that and you pull it away, it'll just taunt him. It'll discourage the behavior. Okay, so now you kind of see what I was doing. Go ahead and do that. And just wait till he's done eating that treat.
All right, you ready?
Stop it. Okay, here. You're good. So he did it. I'm going to give him a treat. And then let me step back in to kind of correct it. So typically you have one trainer, you don't really jump back and forth, but once we get this train, it'll be easy for me to hand off to you. So when I had hesitation, I just showed him, hey, you're working for treats. He's like, okay. And he saw more motivation after failure, which is important too. So let me see if I can get him to just understand this, and I'll pass it over to you. So one of the reasons you would train this is that you could go up to him, and as he gets mature, he's going to be less like cuddly and lovey. And so any day now or a year or two from now, he's going to be more of an adult. And so you can go up to him and approach him and ask him like, hey, do you want to spin? And if he spins, you know he's willing to interact. If he doesn't want to spin, then you have less likelihood of using any sort of treats, hungry or not, any sort of treat to like get him to go back in. So just use my finger instead. And then you can phase that out to where you just give this cue and he'll do a spin.
You're like the bird whisperer.
It's
It's crazy.
America!
Cool. Can I take a look at what you're feeding currently?
Yeah, of course. So this is what I've been feeding him for his dry pellets. Normally I get this other kind. They had this. This is all they had at the pet store the other day. So
Okay.
I got this. Normally the one that I get isn't colored, and it's
You do the natural.
yeah, I forget which one it's called. I just know what it looks like.
Is there any reason you
So-
went with this?
This is just what the guy that I got, the breeder, told me to give him. So I take this, I mix it with, there's another bag, I just ran out of it this morning, or yesterday. It's a bag of, it's like dried fruit and vegetables and stuff. So
Okay.
I mix that in there. He gets a bowl of that, like a little bowl of it. And then I always give him like, he'll get bananas, grapes, peppers, corn, peas. Like I give him all sorts of fresh fruit and vegetables every day too.
Okay. One of the things that happens with breeders is that this is really easy to transition the bird onto, and so they can sell you the bird sooner. And so this is really bad for them.
Yeah.
We don't even recommend so pretty much you've got a nut and seed diet would be the worst. Second worst would be this,
Yes.
like fruity pebble
Yeah.
looking, supreme.
Yeah.
But any kind of colored pellets are generally going to be high in sugar and just unhealthy.
Right.
And a lot of fillers. And then the natural one is a little bit better.
That's what he normally is eating, is the natural one.
So that's a little bit better. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But I actually brought you a bag of our pellets. You want to try to feed, if they're willing to take it, an all natural, organic, cold pressed pellet. There's a ton of reasons why, but basically, it's too bad I didn't get to you a month ahead of time, because part of the screening problem that you had with Phoenix may have been related to this as well. So what happens?
The high sugar
They
content?
go through these energy spikes, yeah. And so when they do, they got to burn it off, especially when they're captive parrots and they're not out flying. They end up having to burn off that energy, so they'll just scream. And
that's honestly exactly what he was doing, because he would hold his beak on the top of the cage.
yeah,
He wouldn't hold on to anything, like his feet would just be dangling, and he would kind of like flap his wings, and he would be screaming his head off.
yeah. So that's like part of them just getting out some of that
Yeah.
excessive energy, and sometimes that gets reinforced through, somebody come in the room and like, hey, shut up, right? Now the bird's like, oh, I just do that to have my flock come back.
Yeah.
So it can be learned behavior, but it oftentimes starts with the wrong diet. Also, you mentioned like the dried fruit that's in your other mix. well, I would go ahead and take that out too. So fruit should really only be reserved for like jackpot reward. Like let's say that Toruk does a spin for us, then give a little tiny dry piece of papaya, you know, and like.
What about like grapes and stuff? That's still considered like a treat?
It's still, yeah, so it's still really high in sugar content. So you're gonna get these spikes.
Because he loves grapes. We feed him grapes like every morning.
Right? Yeah. So you can use those. Like I'm not saying necessarily cut cold turkey,
right?
But use like, the last time we fed fruit was probably 6 months ago. Right, so it doesn't have to be in their daily diet, but you can use it as like a reward or a special bonus for, like, especially if you're trying to get into new flight training. So you were saying that might be like kind of your future goal, using fruit to get some of those first flights again. Since he's been clipped, he's lost some confidence. Fortunately, it sounds like he was fledged properly and at least was flying around prior to that. So the learning curve will be a lot faster for you, but
I've had him since he barely had feathers when I got him.
Yeah.
Like the first 4 months, I had to bring him everywhere I went.
Feed him all the time.
24/7.
Were you feeding, how many feedings a day?
4.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Like every 4 hours when I first got him.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And it was every like 3.
Yeah.
I got him when he was like, I think he was 6 or 8 weeks old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted that. He's got a pretty good bond with me.
Yeah, no, he's great. And then part of what I'm seeing though is to be careful that he doesn't end up with a sexual bond to you.
Right.
So, and that has to do like
that's something I didn't even know about too. Like when I first got him, like he gets in bed with me and he cuddles next to me and puts his wings over. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I would always just pet him everywhere. And then started the YouTube thing. And people were like, "Stop sexually harassing your bird."
Right.
Didn't even know.
All right, man. So this is our organic life-enhancing pellets or parrots. Doesn't have corn, soy, peanuts, sugar, artificial colors or flavors, and it's cold pressed. So basically it maintains the max nutrition. Looks like rabbit
That's
food.
Shiva.
Hi, Shiva.
She's super sweet.
And Claudia from Blue Macaw House is joining us here today. Come on in.
Shiva.
Get over here, Shiva. Come here.
He's So let's do this. Let's leave a few in his bowl for now, and just see if he ends up kind of experimenting. A lot of times when people try to switch their bird over onto any pellet, other than like the junk food, there will be like hesitation for the birds to adjust, and so what happens? They will actually starve themselves to death.
Crazy.
So we weigh our birds daily to make sure that they are actually eating the food. He's at least trying it enough here, so we should have some success later.
Yeah, I know you're hungry.
Thanks, Claudia. So you're saying that he likes pasta?
Yeah, loves pasta.
So what we did is we put together an entire cookbook series, and basically it's for people who like to have dinner with their birds. They like to, you know, do the right thing by trying to make their bird feel loved, giving him things. So what we did is we came up with vet-approved variations to these different types of food. So there's like cookies that they can actually eat, or waffles that they can have. So it's not actually the same batter, but it resembles what you might be eating. So a lot of people end up making the same food for their bird.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, right? Like, and it's all stuff that you could eat. And then, so it's like birdie bread recipes. And ultimately what we do to optimize our birds' health, we ended up, when we were touring around for 2 years, we had a couple of our birds get really sick because we're giving too much fruit. And so what we learned is we needed to do more of a balanced diet. So we worked with a vet, we came up with a seasonal feeding system. And so that whole system is in here, and it's what you should be feeding all the time. So we'll feed it first thing in the morning, and they'll just get, it's like fresh chops. So get it first thing in the morning, and then like a tablespoon or so. And then throughout the day, using nuts and treats as your training, and especially if you're working on free flight, you'll use your higher value food to get some of those flights and reinforce with a treat. And then at the end of the day, you give the bird the pellets. So if you set your day up like that with these guys, they end up man, of just being happier, healthier, and especially if you're getting into fly training, they burn off some of that energy.
Yeah, because right now I give them pretty much everything in the morning. Because I go to work, I own a tattoo shop. I go to work every day around noon. So I feed him in the morning. But I just give him everything at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't ever.
He's eating it now. You want to go fly real quick while we let these guys, let them take a little break? We'll come back and do another session. Wow, the sun hit me today.
Put you in your cage.
All right.
My buddy's got owls and some hawks and he's got a tawny eagle and stuff like that. So I've never free fly parrot.
Pretty sweet, huh? As you guys can see, he's filming his video right now. So if you want to check out what's about to happen, go check out Tyler Nolan's page and also Claudia with Blue Macaw House. Some amazing stuff taking place. But I don't want to show you just yet. You got to go check it out. All right, well that was a super fun day. Got to meet Toruk. Toruk doesn't really have many behavior problems yet, but I can say that I do feel very strongly that if they don't nip a couple of things in the bud now, that he'll become a one-person bird and just have a lot of aggression issues towards new people. And then even within his own flock of people, I feel like he's going to become pretty aggressive. But here's a cool thing. They reached out and wanted to try to get ahead of the curve on these potential issues. I feel like I was able to relay some of the information really well. Unfortunately, I'm super tired. It's been a crazy trip here. I got sunburned, we blew stuff up, we just had a good time, and got a little bird training in there too. I can't wait to see what happens next, and I'm actually really excited. I'm about to get rained on for an hour drive home, but I've been boiling down here in Miami, but it's been awesome. Thank you guys for watching this. Also, if you want, check out everybody involved in this. So obviously Tyler Nolan, you can check out his channel. Also Blue Macaw House with Claudia. Amazing content coming out and stuff that's different on all of our channels. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and we'll see you again real soon.
All my guns are like misfiring today. It's weird.
Is it a Keltec?
No, it's a Glock. It's like nothing is cooperating today. What the hell's going on? Oh, that's why. Oh my god.
Is that a factory magazine?
Grabbed the wrong magazine. It's 9. This is 40.
That's why.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jesus.
What happened, dude?
Grabbed the wrong mag.
Wrong ammo.
No bueno. Let's go just shoot your gun. Today's just not going right.
Wow, look
All right.
weird. The primer blew out, bulged down the back, kind of like weird too.